All right, welcome back to Three of Swords Gaming. We're going to continue through this second release of Secrets of the Obscure as we move further into Nyos. We're assisting Pytha with her battle against Eparch, and that means confronting Hator, who is her cousin, Pytha's cousin, and also Pytha's brother's girlfriend. Of course, he's dead, so ex-girlfriend, I guess. So currently, what we're going to do is we're going to help Pytha establish some control over the area, or some. Oh, it's too late to contribute to that event. We'll look for another one. Establish control over the region by doing events, or in other words, a green bar. My favorite thing about Guild Wars 2. Now, I've said it before when these have come up before. I firmly believe it. I think it's 100% true. The green bar thing, I don't have a better solution for how to kind of put in like some pacing mechanisms into these releases to keep players from literally finishing like the entire release in an hour. So by adding this green bar, they stretch it into like an hour and a half or something like that, right? So I get it. From ArenaNet's perspective, I totally get it on the green bar. To some degree, it makes sense. To some degree, like I can appreciate what they're trying to do. However, the green bars generally do not feel good. And this one has an extra thing at the end where once we fill the green bar, then we will have another task, which remains, I'm going to be honest, remains a little bit unclear to me what it takes to complete that task. Usually I continue to do events and kill like boss type characters until I actually get credit for it. So we're going to see here, and if I feel the need to cut a portion of this part of the story out of the video, then I will do that. At the moment, however,
it's time we throw open Hator's gate.
We're going to use their old defenses against them. Find us in camp and we'll begin the assault.
yes. So we may end up actually relying on. Oh, that was a little bit unfortunate. We may end up relying on the meta event to give us the green bar progress that we need, judging from the looks of things. That's fine. It's not catastrophe. Playing through the meta event at this point in a story is not actually a disaster either, because it is safe to assume that the events of the meta, based on my understanding of the story and the things taking place in the map, the events in the meta do precede the end of the story. So all is not lost. Can I not get an event? What's going on here? What do we got here? They want us to take stuffs.
Sense them, stir, feel the fury. Eparch shifts, but his movements are deceptive and calculated.
Cool. Let's go do that. No need to wait for Pytha. Something's up. Let's go do it. Hopefully there are other folks participating as well. Yeah, it looks like there are already some people doing this.
Give us a hand, will you?
Or it might just all be NPCs.
Keep up the pressure.
Replenishing. They'll have to hit much harder.
Alright, nice. There's one event. We're going to need to get 4 to 5 events, likely. Now, if things go well, then we can get those, in a relatively short period of time. Oh, did they kill all those turrets already? The turret event was up, and it looks like they either it came down or those folks finished it really quick. Usually the turret event feels time consuming. Okay. This one's interesting too. You can get shot down during this one. If the higher up we are, the better off we are actually, because we can get high enough to kind of there we go. We can get high enough to kind of avoid the Cryptus turrets on this. And while we're up here, we might entertain the idea of getting the mastery point here as well, especially since we're already getting credit for the event. Hey, can I not grab that updraft? Oh, is that as high as it goes? Alright. That's fine. This one's tricky. Let's back up a little bit.
With that extractor stopped out, this area's magic should start replenishing on its own. Chew on that, Epoch. Huh. Well done, Wayfinder. And thanks for your help.
Alright, we got another event somewhere over here. Let's rush to it.
Now hunt down as many Cryptus as you can and gather their essence. Bring it back to the beacon. We'll supercharge it and use it against Hades.
Yeah, this one's about done. Let's see whether or not I can actually get credit. Look, you know, if I can kill a few dudes, maybe I'll get credit for this. Or if I drop this essence off, maybe I will. Alright. Hopefully that gets me credit. There we go. We even got gold credit. Isn't that something?
We need you to carry the southern beacon's supercharged energy to the beacon in the north. There's a catch.
Alright.
Light is
Ramses uncovered smaller beacons along the way.
So there's a deal with this, and I can't remember what it is. I don't remember if it's if we hit the ground we lose the flame. No, we still got it. But there is a limited amount of time that we have to like deliver this. So, and I kind of messed around there at the beginning, so we'll have to really hustle to see if we can actually drop this thing off anywhere. There's a beacon. Can we just drop this off here and have some kind of contribution? Oh. I think that refreshed our thing. Let's see here. We got 30 some odd seconds. There's also a thing below us.
Feel the fury.
Did we lose our thing? No, we didn't. We still have it. I think we're in trouble as far as completing our mission here, though. How we doing? We got 27 seconds. Alright, cool. We did it, guys. We did a thing. Of course, some more people are going to have to do a thing for the event to be complete. And so this is basically the pre-event to the meta, by the way. Or one of them. I think there's actually several. I'll be honest, this meta event for me has not been entertaining or interesting. And as a result, I don't give it a lot of attention. Alright, here's another event. Now the question is, if we stop and do this, are we going to retain our credit for, you know, can we get credit for both these events? Kind of debatable, but we'll find out. We're going to get shot down if we're not careful. didn't get that. Alright, maybe we'll try and do another beacon flame here in a second. What do we got going now? How many events can I get credit for at the same time? That's the question when you're trying to fill a green bar. This is the kind of gameplay that the green bar encourages, by the way. And I don't even really feel all that bad for it. I probably should, because it's not very fair to people doing the other event. To, you know, someone who's desperately trying to complete a certain event. But when you ask people to complete events en masse versus complete events, you know, successfully or well, then you create a situation where that becomes desirable, right? It's just the way it is. All right, let's go get another flame. So unfortunately, we don't have the ley line thing with our sky scale yet, or perhaps we could use that to some advantage. It is what it is. All right, we got our flame. Let's get going. And we know we're gonna have to stop along the way to refresh our flame. All right, we got credit for the turrets. So refreshing the, or no, I'm sorry. Completing the beacon event should. Oh, I didn't actually do the thing. Unfortunate. This event should complete our green bar. Then we'll need to kill a Cryptus General. So we'll have to see how we're going to go about that. Ah, rats. The thing is above us. Oh, there's a lot going on here, too. Those trebuchet events actually aren't bad as far as, you know, if you need an event to complete, they're a little bit tricky for one person because there's, you know, the ads there are fairly difficult, but 100% can be done, and definitely with 2 people, it's really a quite simple event. So something to keep in mind if you're at this phase in the story and you're like struggling trying to figure out how you're going to do it. How are we doing here? 15 seconds. We're good. Yeah, if you're looking for events and you're struggling, like, I strongly recommend killing a trebuchet as you're passing through that event, and it's going to be an easy one for you. It's getting there. I wonder if the meta event will give us the opportunity to kill a Cryptus General. Because I have not yet cleared on like what constitutes a Cryptus General. I've done this a number of times, and you know, throughout the two or three playthroughs now that I've completed this story release, it's never been clear to me who exactly carries the rank of general within the Cryptus forces, or what will you? Because it does not say like general, you know, who's its, what's its. Like, none of them have the name general anything. That would be super helpful. Like, that would have been amazing if Arena had said, you know what, we're going to ask them to kill a Cryptus General, so let's literally give the adversaries that meet that... Oh, snap. Let's literally give those adversaries, like, the title... I did it again. I did this last time, too. You know, give them the title of General such and such, and thus the players do not suffer through some sort of weird confusion. Oh, you know what? They got it lit. So we're kind of doing this for our own benefit, I guess, at this point. But we're going to do it just the same. Get up there. Oh, did we lose ours somehow? Well, the event's done, so who cares? So interestingly, this map is exceptionally easy to clear the map, which of course is another thing that's needed for legendary armor, right? You got to clear all the maps associated with Secrets of the Obscure 6 times, or that's our understanding at least. 11, 10. All right. So maybe if I kill Kirillis here, he'll count as a general. I just need this bar to finish first, which it should in. Wait a minute. Why did it not fill? Ah, there we go. And it's full. So now I just need to kill one of Hator's generals.
If you really want to upset the system, help us hunt them down.
I will do that.
That's the thing
Oh,
about
wait.
these cryptids for royalty. They're always surrounded by grunts that are willing to die. Well, if not by our weapons, then by Eparch's maw. Carve a path, Wayfinder.
Still have to get much harder.
Alright. This confused me the first couple times. Even though this is a mechanic that we saw in Omnitas, this whole, like, exorcism mechanic, for this particular event, it was still confusing to me when I encountered it here on this map. But, yes, we gotta exercise these engineers in order to make him vulnerable again. This is one of the, like, this is not a pre-event for the meta, so far as I can tell. But because it occurs around the time that people are standing right over yonder waiting on the meta, because the meta goes in there. So people are standing right here anyway, or more often than not, they're flying above in their sky skill. So as a result, like, it's just a natural event to do if you're looking to farm map currency, or, you know, if you just want to, you know, try and get a drop, or whatever the case may be. Really, the best reason to do events at all on this map, because this map is not a lot of fun to just do events on, once you've been through it once or twice. The best reason to do it at all is either A, you're farming the map currency for legendary armor, or B, you're working on the special achievement, unlock all Syrinx weapon skins, so you're farming the map for those weapon skins. If you can get about 50% of them by farming the map, then it becomes pretty cost efficient at this point in time. At least last time, you know, I did it on my main account. I farmed about half of them, and the other half, yeah, they're rapidly dropping in price. These were like 30 something just a few days ago when I did this on my main account to finish up the thing, get the Astral Acclaim. So they're plunging down to the level where they're about to be comparable to, you know, to most other rare weapons. They'll be worth, you know, whatever the cost of Ecto dictates they're worth.
Acknowledged.
Oh, why am I running off? This is about to happen right now. So now we see this shield, which is protecting Hator, or in the open world, Hator's lieutenant, is going to get zip-zapped by some sort of demonic laser, as opposed to an Asuran laser, or any other kind of, you know, an astral laser, or whatever other lasers exist in the game. And it'll break, and the event begins. Not a lot of people, like, y'all coming to do this, or what? That did not count as one of generals, though. Rats. So now I'm genuinely wondering, even if we do the rest of this meta event, are we still going to end up needing a general? And if so, then I will probably rewind to this point. See, I would think that's also a general. But then again, we just killed somebody like that. And did not get credit for the whole general thing. And oh, by the way, like, no one's going to come help me with this anyway. I was kind of hoping there might be a few people here. But there's not, because, of course, they're doing what, like, makes sense to do, which is come do the meta event. So, I guess we're just going to do the meta event. And if we don't get credit, then, you know, we'll keep working on it.
Feel the fury. I could outrun a centaur. They'll have to hit much harder. I feel good.
Uh-oh.
We heal as one.
Alright. The gate is now vulnerable. We just need to get up on our... you can also do this with Turtle. Or I suppose you could just, you know, melee the gate. But that's going to take you a hot minute if you do that. But we don't have the mastery to actually damage the door. So this is a mastery. Damaging this door with your Sky Scale is a mastery. Which is dumb. But highly predictable. The masteries on mini expansions are going to be weak. That did not take a rocket surgeon to figure that out. And they are weak here. Sieging Fireball, which we might as well be working on. Wizard's Blessing, Wisp Pockets, Essence Attunement. Like, a lot of this is built around conversions. In fact, the last 4 are after we gain the ability to damage this gate. Now, I'm assuming that damaging this gate is not simply for this part of the meta event. I believe this is going to kind of be Gaiala Delvesy, where you do one meta, and then there will be another meta, and then there will be a third meta. And they will be done back to back to back. And I assume that all of them are going to require this master. So, thus, we should be working on it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the masteries really are, like, kind of that shallow. But, it's also going to be interesting to see. So they provide a number of mastery points just in this portion of the map. It'll be interesting to see if the rest of the map also provides some mastery points just out available that you can commune with. And if so, then that kind of addresses the issue that a lot of people had early in Secrecy Obscure, where they felt like getting all the masteries was difficult because the number of mastery points was a bit prohibitive, or at least a significant challenge at a minimum. And you can certainly do it. You know, many players did. I did it. Many players did it faster than I did. So it could certainly be done. But if they provide, you know, 3 or 4 with each of the subsequent releases and don't add to the mastery tracks as a whole, then suddenly it becomes much easier to reach those goals. So this is probably not the worst meta event boss encounter in the game. It is certainly not one of the best. It feels very... he really has a lot of HP, which can feel a little bit tiresome. it's not super frustrating because generally speaking, like most people aren't going to. We got a couple folks here who, you know, we're downed as a result. That's a one-shot attack. It will down you if you are exposed during that attack. But most players, after the first few days of this map being live, figured this guy out pretty quick, right? He's going to drop these rocks like he does right here. And then when he goes into his one-shot phase, which is going to happen in just a second, then we run over here to the rocks, and we get behind one. This is a mechanic that we've already seen in Secrets of the Obscure. Hiding behind something that you know, appears. And I think it's a mechanic that originated maybe in one of the raids. But, you know, it's a mechanic we should be familiar with, so nothing strange should be happening here. The only kind of interesting addition that I hadn't seen prior to this fight, and I don't know if it's new to this fight or not, is the fact that that he also, towards a later portion of the fight, randomly drops like little fire fields on random players, and if you come back here too soon and you got players like this one did, just not to pick on this person, but just piling up behind there, then a bunch of them are going to have fire fields dropped on them, and then you can't really effectively hide in the spot you're supposed to hide. Now we'll go back there. So you have to wait to go back, and I usually take like a wide path. I usually come around like this and then sweep in an effort to get back to the rock only when I need to, and thus I'm not the guy who's dropping fire fields in the spot that everyone's hiding from the one-shot on. That's the only real trick to this event. All this to say that because the event feels relatively straightforward once you get a feel for it, and maybe that's every encounter, but because the encounter is not super complex, then the amount of HP that the boss has and the fact that you're going to do this so many times is very tiresome. So a lot of players are not enjoying this meta, and that's really the reason why. It's not that the encounter in its entirety is bad. I actually think the encounter has a nice combination of you know, of mechanics. Like, it could maybe use maybe one more interesting thing, or like a little bit of variation in the second half or something. But overall, I don't think it's terrible. The problem is we're just now at 50%, and we've already done the hide behind a rock thing. Like, what is this, like the 6th time? That is what players find kind of frustrating. We should start seeing the fire fields now. There's one there. And they will increase in frequency as he gets lower in health. So the concern of dropping one, you know, in the hidey spot is, you know, is going to go up as this fight goes on. But, or you could just stand in them as you're stacked on him and also go down like an idiot, which we succeeded in doing there. More talking than thinking, obviously, on my part. All right, so we'll kind of sweep around a little bit, just in case he drops. And I have had a number of times where, as I was approaching the hiding spot, see a whole bunch of them there behind the hiding spots. So, now you do, when the fire field is dropped, you get a period of time before it starts doing damage. So if you're really like paying attention, then you can avoid, you know, it's a question of timing, I guess what I'm saying. And also, when it drops on random players during this phase, as it's doing, then you can also kind of, you know, if you keep your head on a swivel, you should be okay. I think I kind of cut that one a little close. Get up, buddy. With all the visual noise, sometimes if you're just taking a ton of damage, if you're melee, you know, like we are right now, if you're just taking a whole mess of damage, then it might be wise to consider, you know, that you are in fact standing on a fire field and you just can't see it because of the sheer ridiculous amount of visual noise. At which time you might just move. Part of the reason I generally on fights like this have a habit of kind of rotating, but it only works if you rotate to the right place and not the wrong place. do genuinely hope that this counts as general. I mean, he is canonically within the story, he is a general of Hator. So, or you know what it might? It says use the heart of the obscure. Is it just talking about a rift? Is that literally all we got to do is do a rift? That might be the case also. It definitely wasn't the meta event. We'll try and do a rift here in just a second.
Ramses?
Alright, we got our stuff.
Surprising, but I suppose my mind is an open book these days.
Alright, let's just straight up do rift. Let's see if that is, in fact, the solution.
A disturbance just out of sight. Investigated before returning to camp.
I'll look into it.
A delight you are. I will direct your mind.
Someone started my rift. It's an outrage. So the rifts on this map have another mechanic that they did not previously have, which is that these invaders like try to get to the portal to invade. So they'll start out at the periphery, which is interesting, right? Because the rifts in Tyria, the enemies were coming out of the portal. So this is actually like an inversion of that, where they're trying to get to the portal so that they can invade Tyria. I like that. That's a cool touch. At the end of the day, Rift's a Rift. Like, it's not better content in this map than it is in Kryta, because it's still like very mediocre content. But I do like that they at least paid like that kind of attention and gave it that kind of thought, to where that's you know, a thing that's taking place. They took a very poor event system, in my opinion, which is Rifts, and they at least aligned it properly with the you know, with kind of where it's at in terms of the story or the narrative, to make it make sense. And I think that, you know, good move on their part. So, however much I don't like Rifts, which is quite a lot, you know, they were paying attention to what they did. And there is an achievement for doing a rift and not allowing any of them to escape. Now you can see we did allow one to escape. It was very early on when I first got here, because this guy had already started it. And he, in fact, we're going to allow a second one to escape too, aren't we? But yeah, if you have a group of people and you successfully keep any Cryptus from getting through the rift, then there's an achievement for that. I don't actually remember what achievement it is, but oh, fun. Alright, let's finish this up. See if, well, apparently partially doing that gave us credit for it, I guess. So we will pick up the story after we finish this rift, and we will wrap up the entirety of this release pretty quick after that, because it's not massively time consuming. They relied heavily on the green bar and on trying to figure out what constitutes a Cryptus General, to take a lot of the player's time.
Time to do some real damage.
Alright, kudos to us. Let's complete the story.
It's safe now. You're safe.
Who are
I'm with Paitha. I'm not one of Eparch's.
Paitha? I didn't think you were with the Midnight King. You're too ripe.
Paitha and the Astral Ward set up camp nearby. You can seek refuge there. We're your allies.
You're not afraid of me. Okay. I'll go.
My Wayfinder, your actions had the desired effect. Very little rests between us and Hator. We'll meet you near camp.
Alright.
I'll head that way. Don't do anything dramatic without me.
It's time I introduced you to my cousin.
So another opportunity to interact with some cryptists who are so unlike us that it's a little weird. And the voice is very weird. Like, a lot of people commented on that. The voice is strange in relation to, like, what's happening there and the appearance of the character and so forth. Yeah, and I'm kind of inclined to agree, but at the same time, it's fine. I mean, they shouldn't all be like deep and guttural, right?
This place is a safe one. These creatures are kind and share curious foods. I encourage you to speak with them.
I
Feeling a little overwhelmed? Don't worry. Me too.
heard rumors that Peter rallied. But Tyrius?
You know of Tyria?
I've seen it. When I've dreamt. Not in a long while, but there's so much water. Colors. Smells.
Yes, the Astral Ward can tell you many stories, if you'd like to listen.
But no pressure. All here. We can prepare to move.
The path to Hator should be clear. Aside from a few guards left to protect the waning fortress.
Guards are easy. Hator, I don't know what to expect.
A hard enough fight. And who knows what vile thoughts Ebark has equipped her with. We move with caution. Ramses, why do I feel dread emitting from your teeth?
Oh, apologies, Lady Payne. Trying to help Liege acclimate has proven complicated. She's fearful.
This is a dreadful place to choose solitude. She'll adjust. Let's hope that removing Hator will secure these lands for those who can't fight back. We move.
Alright, let's do it. Let's go meet this Hator person.
All shiny.
You get a mini for completing that, and it feels like kind of a random mini. I mean, is it just me? Let's see, preview. Well, I guess not. It's a Cryptis. It just, I don't know. I'm not a fan of minis anyway, so maybe that's why it just kind of feels silly to me. Oh yeah, let's look at our. So these, much like the, the case of captured lightning or whatever it is, and the thing from Amnitas, I don't even remember what that is. Like, this is the same, and this is what you're gonna need. If you're deeply interested in, if you're deeply interested in legendary armor.
We have completed the task at hand.
Let's go deal with Hator. Can we launch straight into that from here? Nah, we're gonna have to travel through Nice. So this is what I was talking about when I said that, like, they just don't have the time or the narrative space to really, like, do this in an interesting way. If this is, like, some sort of, insurgent, like, asymmetric campaign, and, like Pytha is hugely outnumbered, and she's fighting back for the people of Neos and stuff. If all that is the case, then there should be a little more to it than just, we have a few fights, we attack the leader. Like, that is not gratifying from a narrative point of view.
This place is certainly
Dramatic, grotesque. I never understood how we became so dramaturgic. All of this was copied from other worlds. We were born to the dirt of the demon realm.
Getting inside shouldn't be a challenge. A few guards and stragglers, but they're on the back foot. Her champion is dead.
Let's take out whatever guards are left before we head in.
A prudent suggestion, Wayfinder. She waits for us inside. But my scouts report only angst within those walls. I expect a dramatic fight.
Good. Shall we?
Alright, so we gotta clear the ground. I mean, again, like so contrary to like conceptually how they presented things, that that our current way forward is to repeatedly fight head on. Like that is the opposite of, in theory, like what the solution would be given the way the story has presented everything to us. But all right, that's fine, whatever. So as soon as we kill everything else, then we're ready to kill the boss. That is essentially where we're at in the story arc here. So let's kill everything else. Thought I got clear and I did.
What are we waiting for?
Nothing. We progress.
It's like a weird bit of dialogue there. I mean, if the answer was nothing, if we are progressing, then like I feel like Arena would be smart enough to say, or to rather not say, what are we waiting for? Like, it's just like I have no idea. If this is like my 4th playthrough, then there are 4 times that I've heard that, and it felt weird and out of place, and I don't understand exactly what they were trying to communicate there, if I'm being completely honest. I need to stay out of that business. That was a mistake.
More! They don't look interested in talking either.
So credit to ArenaNet for not making the Skyscale Dragon Ball, or the Skyscale Fireball like excessively powerful, because that would have been, like Skyscale is already like game breaking in so many ways. If you look at the game, prior to Secrets of the Obscure, because obviously Secrets of the Obscure, everything in Secrets of the Obscure has been designed with Skyscale in mind, to the point where it is unplayable for players that don't have Skyscale. Thus, they give you a Skyscale to address that issue. But Secrets of the Obscure still only comprises a very small amount of the game. And when you look at the game prior to Secrets of the Obscure, Skyscale is game-breaking. Even content that was made, even like End of Dragons, which was made after Skyscale, it's still, Skyscale kind of makes a lot of things in, Cantha kind of trivial in terms of vistas and so forth, right? So, well, the last thing it needed was to be even more... Oh, I tried killing Ramses there. Last thing it needs to be even more game-breaking by being able to conduct attacks from the air. Now, I do... I do still have some reservations about the whole thing. Like, it definitely is not something I would have done. Still not necessarily a fan of it, but it has proven to be less of an issue. I've also... And I don't know if you hang out above an event and you fireball enemies, if you get credit for the event. I assume you do, because you can kill enemies out. You can fully kill enemies. It takes time, but you could fully kill enemies by fireballing them from the sky. So I'm surprised that I haven't seen more people leeching events with the Skyscale Fireball. However, I'm glad that I haven't to date, because that would be tremendously annoying. It does seem, since I was doing 0 to 0, which is not going to continue, I simply don't have the bandwidth for it these days. Personal bandwidth, I mean, not my internet connection, which remains fine. Um, they do seem to have recently started to address AFK farming to some degree, which is shocking for me. I never thought I would see the day that they actually, took those steps, which I think are important steps for the health of the game. So we'll see whether or not they actually have like a meaningful impact, or if it's kind of superficial and it'll fade with time, and we'll see a resurgence in AFK farming. But very possibly they genuinely take it seriously. We'll see what comes of that. It's way too early to make an assessment on that. Like, it is easily going to be 6 to 9 months before we're in a position to to say anything about it. And realistically, it will be the introduction of the next widget that alters the way AFK farming can be conducted. That will really help us kind of get perspective on it. And that may be, further additions to the Weapon Master training, where we get some new weapons. It sounds, from the description of those new weapons, based on some of the stuff that some creators have put out, a couple of the weapons seem very powerful.
Not a whisper or a dream. That was the last of them. Inside the fortress, I cannot sense it. An army may wait. Just wretched.
Good enough. On swift feet, we move.
All right, on swift feet. Yeah, so it looks like the weapons are going to be fairly powerful and bring a lot of their own flavor, which is very interesting. I kind of expected them to be kind of weak and superficial. So I'm interested to see how it all plays out and whether or not that alters some of the problems in the game.
To this place that tastes different now. What do you seek here, Hator? What has Epoch done?
Was that?
Irja.
Move!
So interestingly, Patha and Ramses seem quite concerned about their fellow Cryptus, which kind of, I feel, runs a little contrary to everything we've been showing about the Cryptus thus far, but maybe it's just another facet. And here we got Hator, so again, like a relatively humanoid, to about to the same degree that Patha is. The bulbous back is a little off-putting, but largely, and they wanted people to like Pathos.
But I know better. You've always been spoiled to the horn. So, why are you here, Patha?
Why are you hunting us? Only fear dangles from your flesh.
You haven't been to the castle in some time, have you? You ran and hid. You still run.
And you kiss each leg of the spider. Has he shown you his venom yet?
Give Ceres my love.
Eyes up!
No! Irjo!
Traitor to us all, you are. You didn't have to do this. We can go
They'll have to hit
another
much
way.
harder.
Of course I
Ah.
do, cousin.
So that attack is brutal and really shapes this entire fight, honestly. And there are a number of things. I mean, this is a challenging fight, in my opinion. But the attack where Hator spins and gradually works towards you, that one right there, is devastating. It does a ton of damage. And so far as I can tell, is almost inevitable because it moves faster than you can run in this place, and at the same time, it seems like immobilized doesn't do anything to mitigate it. Of course, you can choose to go ranged, and you can just stay as far away from Hator at all times as possible. But even that feels like it's not a great solution because you still find yourself,
Not enough energy.
in a position to be potentially vulnerable. So I have found thus far the Hador fight. See, it closes in on you like it's rough. So I mean, if you're looking for now, I'm gonna say this, and it's gonna end up sounding very stupid because maybe it turns out there's just like something that makes this fight trivial that I don't know about. But in my opinion, this was a challenging fight and is proving, to be so again. And so if you're looking for like that challenging personal story fight, then Patha, in my opinion, ranks among them, much like Codicus did once upon a time, where Codicus at the time it released was a pretty tough fight.
We fight together.
If I needed any more reason to fight with you, I've got it now.
Appropriate to say that when down. Like, if you needed any more reason, yeah, being dead is a great. All right, so we died. So if you complete this fight without getting downed, I don't think it's without dying. I think it's without getting downed. Then there is an achievement associated with that. I will be on. Yeah, is it achievable for me? Yeah, certainly I will figure it out. But thus far I have not. Thus far I have yet to get that achievement even on my main account. So, something to look forward to at some point in the future. If I decide that I really need the achievement, then I'll see if I can figure that out. Put some effort into that. All right, Patha. Thoughts on the whole experience? Just gonna wander around.
There's a version of this world where she joined us.
Patha.
Do not worry for me. I am not in mourning. Hator was cruel, even if she was driven by fear.
What now?
Check the fortress for survivors. Follow your gut. I need reflection.
Okie dokie. Check the fortress for survivors. Ramses, what's up, buddy? I'm concerned for Patha. I'm concerned for Patha because the commander seems to attribute human emotions to Patha. She is not human, she's Cryptus. So probably the commander is making an error in doing that. But just saying, Commander, I am concerned for Patha.
You may think her cold, but each loss stacks into Patha's core. Collecting, rotting.
Were she and Hator close?
Every breath in this place requires sacrifice. They were both survivors. They were not close, but they both fought hard to live.
It's a shame.
I actually like that dialogue about, every breath in this place requires sacrifice. They both fought hard to live. I don't like the commander's response. The commander's response is kind of insipid, but I do quite like, the dialogue from Ramses there. I think it's interesting. Take a look at Urza.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I guess the commander's sorry because, remember the commander had just told Urza, like, hey, don't worry, like, there's a safe place. So we're at 2 out of 4 on this optional achievement where we can actually complete this achievement here by looking for important information. These 2 are pretty obvious because Ramses is hanging out right here and then Urza's right here. The other 2 are a little bit trickier to find. I think they're both through the portal here, back up where our peeps are. But they're not, like, marked. You can kind of see them by doing that, by mousing over and seeing when you get, like, the little gear there. But they're somewhat difficult to find otherwise.
Bones. They're everywhere.
Mostly Cryptus, it seems.
What have they done?
Poor Ramses. He's appalled even when he can't see what we're talking about.
Arena.
recognize them?
I do. They never... One of our scouts didn't come back. Collapse into the stars, my friend.
That's kind of a cool, like, epitaph. Interesting stuff. Alright. Well, we're about done here. Let's see what Paitha has to say about the whole thing.
I'm sorry, Paitha. Are you okay?
Save that sentiment for your own. Hator wanted to die, and she likely escaped a much more miserable existence.
I respect how clear your mind is.
My mind is far from clear. Though I'm relieved that you witnessed all you have, might cause Epoch's fixations.
I suppose it didn't hurt. I trust you, Paitha. You kept these astral wards safe. You care about the Cryptus, your Cryptus. We share a goal. Just point to where we go next.
You are a curious creature, Wayfinder. Rest. I'll do the same. We can't move further in Nyos. Not yet. The barrier blocks our path until we can remove it. We march. More allies await us on the other side.
Alright, the barrier, truthfully being, and then, so within the story there is a barrier, right? And we can actually go take a look at that. I mean, I brushed up against it like numerous times while running around in the open world. But we see there is both literally in the game a barrier, and then physically on the map, or I guess that's the same thing. Within the story and physically on the map, there is a barrier, right? Kind of shut down and rebooted there. Lately, that's been happening a lot. Should probably see a doctor about that. Alright, so yeah, if we just head out this way, and presumably like this is supposed to be tied to the existence of the barrier, but if we come out this way, we're going to get told to turn around here real fast. You've entered a magical barrier, escape before you're ejected or killed, and you actually will take a debuff, you'll take damage if you continue to fly into it. So yes, so that wraps up in its entirety in 1 hour 41 minutes the entirety of this release, and that included doing the open world meta event, and which is happening again right now, the whole green bar and everything was complete in 1 hour 41 minutes. So very short release. Now of course, if I felt like this release had replayability, then maybe I'd say, but it has great replayability. But I don't. In fact, I think honestly, as much as people didn't like Gaiala Delve, I actually think Gaiala Delve maybe had more replayability, simply because I think that meta event was a little bit more direct in nature and probably, truthfully, a little bit more rewarding than this one is. So as a result, I have to say I think this was a pretty weak release, and I think most players feel like it was a pretty weak release. But there it is. Like, we've seen it all now this afternoon. I'm assuming, with that in mind, it's going to be a few more months before I get around to doing anything else. My schedule continues to be pretty prohibitive with everything else going on in my life. Also, I'm not super excited about the game right now. There's some other, I got other games I want to play. I'm working on trying to learn how to mod in Stellaris. I just got Galactic Civilizations, the newest one, which is I think 4. I might actually do like a playthrough of Cyberpunk 2077 because I still enjoy that. And honestly, not only did my schedule get very busy, but the Halloween event, it kind of represents the worst of everything in Guild Wars 2 these days. So with my schedule being prohibitive and then that taking place and just being kind of grossed out by like how the game was going, and then with this release being so weak, I just have pretty much no motivation, no time or motivation to really do much with Guild Wars 2 right now. So it's unlikely you'll see anything from me again for another 2.5 months. but I do intend to at least stay on top of the story playthrough. So, if that's the case, hey, see you in 2.5 months. If it's not, I don't know. Maybe I'll see you next week. Who could say? Thank you, and have a good one.